All right, so this is the third time I'm gonna talk about this. Every time as I'm like keep editing, I realize how illogical I sound and how crazy I am. So like I really gotta cut all the verbiage to make sure I get to the point quickly. I actually only got 10 minutes. It was all fun and fresh, right? I finally am gonna leave Beijing and start my real trip because I was just so familiar with both US and China. Usually I go to Japan every year, but not the year before that. So I was like, okay, like now it's another chance to go to Japan. I'm like just finishing out the takeout I got from the day before. And then my mom asked me if I got everything. I was like, yeah, I got everything. My mom actually drove me to the airport. I was carrying this bag. At first, I couldn't find it. There was some of the stuff on top, probably like iPad and stuff. I reached and reached and reached, nothing. It's probably somewhere in here. I just missed it. Or that it's in the luggages that I just gave at a counter. What if I actually left it at a dining table? So I WeChat my mom. I was like, is my wallet at home? Yeah, it's at home. What the fuck are you doing? So I was like, shit. Maybe someone would be like out there and be like, oh, that's why I told you, to put your money separately, even if you lose your wallet, you got something else. Well, I did. So I do have cash. I do have my credit card. I do have everything else, but I don't have my driver license. So that's the biggest thing because my plan was to drive around Kyushu. And the places that I booked can only reach through driving. I did no research on the public transportation in Kyushu. Legally, if you're going to use your driver license abroad, you have to have the original with that international driver license, which is basically just like a translation. You have to go with the original. Started to make that international call to the Hakata airport, but I don't have the original. Is that fine? She was like, no, that's not fine. I have it on my phone. Does that work? She was like, no, that is not gonna work. You have to have the original. And I asked my friend if I should cancel the reservation. And she was like, well, I think you should cancel because they already told you over the phone that it's not gonna happen. So why do you even bother? So I canceled it. Which was probably the biggest mistake, but honestly, like who knows? So I didn't even try. I asked my mom if she can come back, and she was like, I don't think I can make it. I was like, okay, what if I just don't take this flight? Especially, mostly United will be able to arrange you to the next flight if you mix the last one for free. I probably took it as granted that airlines was supposed to do that. Well, obviously they're not. So like, what if I just take the next flight and they were like, well, there's no other flight for the day and we are leaving in 20 minutes. Friend is already waiting for me in Tokyo, and our flight from Tokyo to Hakata was leaving the day after, like in the morning. So that one will be voided too. And she will be at Hakata, don't know what to do. The biggest thing is, if I miss this flight, they record me as no shown, then my entire round the world ticket will be voided. Which now I think of it is super fucking risky. Because it's not like one of those like small rings that people are doing, just going to like the North Europe and whatever, just go around North Pole and call it around the world. This one I got 14 segments. If I miss one of them, then I'm just totally fucked. I let my friend who was in Japan already, and I let her know. And she sent me a link. Like a company was saying that they were able to ship stuff and they will arrive overseas like overnight, because we will have people to personally be there and claim is through the custom for you, and then we will be personally there, have someone there to put it right to the next flight. Sounds like a great deal. So I was just like, I contacted him. So I contacted him through WeChat, and he was like, it's gonna be $200. I was like, okay, that's a whole lot of money. It's something in human minds that you just feel like if something is expensive, if the service is expensive, it must be good. It's like why a lot of people believe like Chinese goods are bad because they are so cheap. So they're just like, what really people try to do is just boost up their price, like where the quality is exactly the same. So I told my mom that someone is gonna pick it up, and then I boarded the plane. When I got to Tokyo, my mom sent me some messages, and she was like, send it through FedEx, it's gonna be like $100. And I also get the message from that delivery person, and he said, well, your mom rejected, she refused to give it to me. And I was so fucking pissed. If you were to give him a little early this afternoon, it might have been already sent on the plane. Like, I was naive in that way, okay? What do you even care? It's in my wallet, just send it to him. So like, my mom, when I was like so freaking upset, and she eventually gave my wallet to the delivery person. To make it clear, after the first night in Tokyo, I would spend the second night in Kumamoto. That is an easy 1.5 hour train ride from the airport in Fukuoka. The only problem is we're gonna take a 30-minute local bus ride to our Airbnb on the campsite outside of Kumamoto. Then night 3 in Hitoyoshi, between these two places, there is a special train that I always wanted to take, so that's fine. But I have to have my license by night 3 because night 4, Kurokawa is like in the center of Kyushu. If I want to take public transportation in between Kurokawa and Hitoyoshi, it's gonna take more than 6 hours. So that is really not practical. Just give it a try at the rental car location, but I didn't actually ended up going. So we just, because I needed to get like some batteries. My batteries were taken by like the airport in like motherfucking Beijing. They just confiscated my batteries because they were like, yeah, that's another bullshit. He said, well, this address that you've given me is considered as like remote area. So we're gonna have to pay like $50 more. So it's like, okay, so you want $50 more. So then I just paid him. I'm like, whatever, I really need to get this. It's fine. Like, he said it's in the custom, like at least it's in the airport already. It shouldn't be there like for too long. Like they said it's overnight delivery, even if it's gonna be delayed. I've let enough rooms, right? I only needed to be there for like day 3. In day 2, he told me that it already get cleared custom and will arrive in Tokyo on the same day. Always checking with the person, with the delivery person, like where is it, where. And then later that afternoon, I was like, okay, like there's no update. He then sent me a tracking, and it was for FedEx. The FedEx that I could have just paid $80 for and have delivered in 5 days. The last scan was in Beijing. It didn't even leave Beijing. He was like, oh, okay, let me check. Well, it's like during like Lunar New Year season, so a lot of stuff are going out. I'm like, why would I care how many packages you got? You're asking me to care about something that I did not pay for. It was a miscommunication. It was not sent to Japan yet. It's still in Beijing. Literally just asked me $50 more, and now you're telling me that it's not even leaving Beijing. And he was like, I didn't ask you for $50 more. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I just gave you $50 more. He said I had to pay $50 more, but I didn't say that you gotta pay $50 more. I'm like, then why don't you just refund that to me right now? He was like, well, you know, if you're gonna do that refund, we are going to like, we have to, you know, have a meeting with like the rest of the firm and decide we're gonna give you a refund. I'm like, what are you even talking about? You said that you don't ask me for this $50. So why are you not giving me back this $50? What kind of fucking meeting that you need to have to give me back the money that you didn't ask for? I called him 10 times in a row and he rejected all of them. Then he was like, I was with another client. I was so upset. You didn't even solve this problem yet? Now you're already scamming the next victim. He immediately went at me. What do you think you are? He was like, are you crazy? You got some problems? What do you mean like scamming you? When the fuck did I scam you? I already sent you out. When did I ever tell you that it's guaranteed delivered the next day? I was like, okay, holy fucking shit. He didn't write anything like that in words. He always called and say that it will be there like tomorrow. So there was no proof. He was like, you don't know how to count, you stupid cunt. I was like, get your fucking attitude right when you talk to me. We went at each other for another 20 minutes. Then, you know, I already realized it was truly a scam and my wallet's not going to be there by the next morning. I was in denial mode for the last 2 days. I thought it was going to work, but now I just really got to think about what to do. There was no public transportation. If you want to go there, you have to go back to Kumamoto and then go there. That's going to take you 6 hours. And I was like, if I do that, there's nothing else we will do during the day. And I had one large ass luggages. And I feel so bad. I feel so bad for my friend. Then now she's going to drive her luggages with me all over the place. So that was giving me so much stress. So I called like 5 different like taxi companies. I was getting quote. I was saying that I need to go to this place. Like, how much is it gonna be? And they were like, wow, this is gonna be really expensive. You're sure? And they quoted me for like, I think it's about $1,000. So I was like, okay, if all else go to shit, then I would just have to pay this $1,000 to them. So both me and my friend were super stressed out. It's just almost to a point I feel like I was gonna cry, which is why like every time I think about this, I feel like I'm getting a heart attack. Hitoyoshi is definitely more of like a touristy spot than, you know, that campsite and motherfucking outside of like Kumamoto. So I was like, okay, I'm going to book it from Enterprise and give that a try. Like, what if they just allow me? One, you know, they haven't seen that much foreigners here in Hitoyoshi. Two, it might have been works like to begin with, but if it doesn't work, I'm just gonna call out a taxi or we'll go by the public transportation. So Chinese people, they're not gonna bend their rules for you because they're like really stingy. But Japanese people, they don't bend the rule for you because they respect the rules. So that's kind of like a hard thing. I don't think I will be able to persuade him. Like the way that you're probably like gonna be able to persuade people in like United States. If you have like good reasoning, they're gonna be willing to like make an exception for you, but not in Asia. So, or basically not in anywhere else in the world. And she asked me for my driver license. I gave her my international driver license. And I was just trying to see if she's gonna give any reaction. And she had a brochure actually. She was like, okay, then I need to check in that and that. Her hands were behind the counter. She was like, oh, okay. What are the things I need to do? And what I was like, okay, we're all set. Like, here are your keys. I'm like, okay, what? You just gonna give me your keys? I'm like, this is good? You're not gonna ask me for my driver license? Obviously I didn't say that. I was just like, okay, great. She was like, yeah, let's check on the car. And we walked around and it was just so freaking, I was just so gleeful. I did not even know, like, there was like, I don't even know how to react to that. I was just like, yeah, I couldn't say when it's like a small car, but then whatever. I was like, whoa. I got my freaking car. And she was like, yeah, that's good. I'm like, I can go. And she was like, yeah, you can go now. And I was in the car. I was so fucking excited. I don't remember if I did any vlog at all. I probably did. But I was so freaking excited that I got a car. So all the problem can be solved. My wallet is lost somewhere. Like, whatever. Like, why do I care? Like, even if it's going to be here, I'll arrive like 5 days afterwards. That's fine. And I asked my friend and said that, do you think that I got it or not? And she was like, no, I don't think you got it. But then I was like, ding ding. So we got so excited. It's just like, I feel like our tension, there was some like tension built between us. I don't know if I was being paranoid, but I think there were tension built between us because I was always complaining and when we left Hitoyoshi, but the address was still Hitoyoshi, right? So it was with the ryokan owner and he was like, oh, no worries, we will ship it to you. I'm like, really? That's so great. Thank you so much. Do you think the delivery fee is, I would pay it now? He was like, oh, don't worry about it. I got you covered. And I was like, oh my god, like he's so nice. Like Hitoyoshi, this place by the means is like good people, like nice people. That was a stretch because later I forgot something. Yeah, I freaking forgot stuff again, like in Hitoyoshi. And she ended up mailing, I forgot like my credit card there because afterwards she did not return my card to me. And it's not my habit to check for my card because they always do. Later that day, I gave them a call and she was like, yeah, I actually got your card. I was like, okay, can you ship it to me? And she was like, yeah, but so it's gonna be like a fee. I was like, oh, okay, you can charge it on my credit card. So she charged on my credit card. But now you think of it, you know, like I didn't get my credit card because you didn't return it to me, right? Shouldn't be that like your responsibility. So I think it was a stretch to say that people from a certain area is nicer than others. It's more of like stereotyping and you try to reinforce that with your own choices. Before it was finally shipped out when it was like before I arrived in Kurokawa, I finally saw it shipped out at Guangzhou. And then day 5 when I was leaving from Kurokawa to Beppu, I saw that it arrived in Hitoyoshi. Super irresponsible of them. I hate the brokers. I hate the middlemen because not only do they charge, but they make it inefficient, right? So if I just gave it to FedEx, they would probably be able to ship it out immediately. Not that first 2 days are going to waste. So then later I asked him to give me back the money. Of course he doesn't give me back the money. I tried it. There's a scam system like on like WeChat. If someone scam you, you like do a report and they're supposed to help you with that. But like they don't do much, you know. And then I trusted that stuff. When stuff are more expensive, I trusted they will be better, which is a complete joke. So yeah, I mean, thinking back to it, there were so many things that could have done better. Like if I was just being a little more flexible and like, let me just cancel those hotel reservations, it would probably be a lot less stressful. I got my chicken feet is already cooked, so I don't have any more time. Just the moral of the story. Try not to get scammed, and I think the best way would be not believing people that don't have any credentials. No matter how, like, if I were to be a little more, you know, relaxed and not being like, this is the only thing I want to get done and that this is the only way to solve this, I would have seen myself another way out, not like force myself into a corner. A lot of things that contribute to this. If it weren't that my friend who sent me the link, I probably wouldn't have like believed in that. If I found it myself, I might be a little more doubtful. As well, right? If my mom had been the first one who gave me the option, well, she said that it's gonna be arrive like 5 days after. If I were just to accept that option and be thinking about ways out, then I wouldn't be like that. So be a little more flexible. I should have been more flexible on my trip, as in, even though I have booked all of these hotel non-refundable, but thinking about that, I actually spent like $200 on this shipping. Like if I were just not to show up for one of those, like in Kurokawa, and I'm just decided to go somewhere that's a little more, you know, don't need to worry about the transportation and stuff, then I wouldn't have like been so rushed into getting my driver license, because otherwise I could have just, you know, taken the subway like to go to like from Peppu to Kumamoto. There is a way out if I just spent like an extra day in Kumamoto or whatever. But I was just so focused on this idea that I got the best plan mapped out, and I do not want any of them to go in a way that I did not want them to be. This Kurokawa, which is like, they got one of the, it's like not so often visited by foreigners, but also like just that secret spot that a lot of people don't know about, but like locals know, and it was very pretty, which was, I don't want anything to go wrong with it. I'm gonna make sure it happens no matter what, even if I'm gonna pay $1,000 on the taxi fare, which is insane. Like this whole idea is insane. To be a little more spontaneous, there are good things and bad things, right? Good thing is that you don't need to be worried about like some last minute changes. Bad thing is that, you know, you probably feel like you can't experience the best of things. But like, you know, if anything, I did learn that through this trip that there is never gonna be the best of things. There always gonna be something that you're missing. There's always something that worth going back to. But whether or not you actually go back is your choice. But there's no way you're just saying that I'm gonna get the best of things, because that doesn't happen. And I think this whole experience was so stressful, not only because it was just the start of the trip, right? You think about it, I was like, oh my God, my 95 days trip is just really getting started. And then the first thing you do, I lost my fucking wallet, you know, right? And then if I decided to not board that plane, my entire trip would be canceled. This was really a bad start. This was like really such like a traumatic start. Believing something like last minute and give them money and be like something's gonna work. At that moment, you're just like a gambler, you know. You hope that it will really work. I was never even thinking about there was a possibility that it wouldn't arrive on time. I was like, it's just gonna be expensive. If I pay more, something's gonna go out better, which is not the case, you know, guys. That is not the case. But this one, it was a definite scam. Like he was like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be there next day, but then it wasn't. So every day I'm just like keeping my hopes up, but also like knowing that something is gonna go down. So those first 5 days of my entire like Japanese trip, like up until the point I pick up my car, so probably day 3, I was so stressed out. At least it was a scammer who was just gonna take my wallet away, and she said that at least, you know, you were able to, you know, rent a car. That's what I say. At least I was able to finally be able to solve things out. At least I gotten my money and my credit card on a different pocket as well, so that I wouldn't be losing one and losing them all. So in my entire trip, I lost my wallet twice. This is one of them, and then probably the most stressful one. The other time, like both time, I got to ship my wallet internationally, which was crazy. The one that is the most stressful is this time. It's the story of me getting scammed. This is the third time I talk about it. I am ready getting everything straight. Maybe next time, if I get everything wrote down, then take notes, and that will be better. But that's about it. And I'm gonna start chewing my chicken feet now.